Basic Setup, Navigation. On power up of the ECM, you'll see the logo screen pop up. The ECM and the display synchronize. Once synchronized, the main screen opens. From this screen, you can see all the operating parameters of the engine: RPM, manifold pressure, manifold temperature, jacket water temperature, fuel gas temperature into the DEPR, and the engine oil pressure. This dot, which is on every screen, is a quick indicator to show how your system is running. Red indicates a shutdown. Yellow shows there is a fault. And green means all is well. By pressing the top two buttons on the right, you may scroll through the pages. Screen 2 shows more overview gauges, including RPM information is repeated, as well as battery voltage, percent load the engine is operating at the given RPM, horsepower created at current load and speed, throttle inlet pressure, and actual throttle position. Screen 3 shows ignition information. Again, we show RPMs. Also shown is ignition timing as the engine is operating, manifold pressure, primary coil voltage, engine knock if the engine is set up with detonation detection or knock detection, and the knock retard. Screen 4 shows us the ignition timing kV readings. This shows the actual kV readings, which shows the actual volts in thousands that it takes to fire the spark plugs for all the cylinders. This is all block ordered and not fine order related. The final column shows the average of the kV readings. Air-fuel ratio information is shown on page 5. This shows the airflow going into the engine shown in standard cubic feet per minute. Fuel flow going into the engine shown in standard cubic feet per minute. The adaptive percentage based on the control strategy. Closed loop percentage based on the control strategy. At the bottom, we see the fuel control mode that may be set with open loop, or closed loop with adaptive. We also have the fuel type, which can be natural gas or propane. Screen 6 features more air-fuel information. We see pre-catalyst fee values, post-catalyst fee values, pre-catalyst exhaust temperature, post-catalyst exhaust temperature. The middle of the screen shows the catalyst differential temperature, the DEPR out target, and the DEPR out value. Screen 7 displays speed governing information. The top gauges show our actual RPM and the targeted RPM. The bottom two show the true throttle position and auto pressure, whether it's in suction pressure or discharge pressure. The bottom boxes show the speed control mode, which can be auto or manual mode, and auto pressure type that can be set as suction or discharge. Screen 8 is a timers page. It shows the current date and time, the time of the last stop, the engine runtime, which is a non-resettable clock, percent runtime, and total engine starts. To navigate any setups, press the Home button. On the home screen, you can view Diagnostics. This shows the faults and shutdowns. Clicking on the Historic button takes you to the Historic Alarm screen. On the Historic Alarm screen, clicking on the FSS will show the fault snapshot for that alarm, and clicking on the Clipboard Clear button will clear all the historic alarms. Historical data. View the speed and load operating history and the knock operating history. You may see some buttons grayed out if they are not applicable to your setup. The knock sensor buttons will not be used on certain engines and therefore unavailable on the screens. Maintenance and testing. On this screen, while the engine is stopped, you can run a compression test on the engine, test fire the spark plugs, turn on the fuel valve. While the engine is running, you can manually kill the ignition on particular cylinders, or perform an auto kill. Manual speed adjust. Here you can increase or decrease the engine speed by using the buttons. Base setup. This screen lets you prepare the initial engine setup. Operating settings. From this screen you can adjust speed governing, passwords and shutdowns, system info, date and time, or reset the percent runtime. Display settings. This screen allows you to change contrast and ambient light and brightness of the display. System settings. Shows what is loaded on the display itself. Modbus. See and change the Modbus remote communications parameters. Reboot display. Shuts down and restarts the display only.